What makes corn whiskey different from other American whiskeys like rye, wheat, or even bourbon? Well, I'm going to tell you on this episode of Whiskey Specs. Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Whiskey Specs, the part of the channel where I give you the details on all things whiskey. I'm Ryan, and today I will be going over what makes something corn whiskey. So enough chit chat, let's get into it. Corn whiskey is different from other American whiskeys like wheat or rye whiskeys, and even bourbon, because it has a few different qualifications that need to be met. In order for a whiskey to be labeled as corn whiskey, it must be made from at least 80% corn, must be distilled from a fermented grain mash, must be distilled to no more than 160 proof or 80% ABV, it may be unaged or matured in used or uncharred oak containers. And that's the difference between corn whiskey and bourbon. A bourbon can have a mash bill of over 80% corn, but it must be aged in new charred oak barrels. So a bourbon can never be labeled as a corn whiskey. A corn whiskey must have a maximum barrel entry proof of 125 or 62.5% ABV. It cannot be treated with charred wood or mixed with any whiskey that has touched charred wood. So you cannot have a blend of bourbon and corn whiskey and still be labeled corn whiskey. If a whiskey meets all of these qualifications, it can legally be called corn whiskey. Well, that does it for today's episode of Whiskey Specs. If you enjoyed the episode and you learned something new, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, leave me a comment. Let me know, what's your favorite corn whiskey? Or have you ever even had a corn whiskey? I love to hear what you guys have to say. So remember guys, no matter how busy you are, there's always time for a drink with friends. Stay safe everyone.